I'm thrilled to be taking part in International Women's Day 2022 this year, and the theme is Break the Bias. Different people have different meanings, I guess, for that phrase, and it will resonate with different people differently. One of the phrases I hear from a wide variety of people is, if she can see it, she can be it. And here at FCHO, with our all-female exec, obviously we are living that proudly and loudly, and therefore very hopeful that all women, certainly in this organisation and hopefully other organisations, we can be role models for them seeing themselves able to achieve their career goals.
Have I had to overcome any examples of bias in my career? I think there have been a couple of things that occurred to me. I think in the early days I found that I was promoted at a very young age, and so I found being a young female caused a lot of sort of resistance, if I can put it like that. So it was really about being really good at what I was doing, being really confident, and making sure that I sort of knew where to go for the answers. And I think later in my career, unfortunately, I was in an all sort of male team, where I think a lot of the decisions were made on a Tuesday night in the pub, and that's you know, you hear about that sort of old school boys club, and I was quite surprised when I came across it myself. And again, it was just about really standing my ground, being very confident, and just really pushing for the right answers, and making sure I had all of the information that I needed to challenge.
So I think I've spent probably 10 years in the private sector and 10 years in the housing sector, and I've been fortunate enough not to actually experience gender bias. I've managed to sort of work my way up the career ladder. I think what for me, because I'm a qualified accountant and I've worked in primarily a male-orientated environment, I think I put myself under pressure of being in a situation where there's male egos and male strong characters. So for me, it's been around how I can help develop myself to be able to work more effectively in those environments.
So the advice I would share with any younger women is not to let your own internal self-talk hold you back. I actually managed to fail my A-levels, didn't do a first degree, and for a number of years I thought that lack of academia, lack of qualifications should hold me back. But as soon as I realised that you just have to go for it, just believe in yourself, go for it, what is the worst thing that could happen? That's my self-talk now.
I think you can start off on a path, and a bit like I did, you may decide that you've got a set career or a set aspiration, and then if it doesn't quite work out, try something different. We sometimes think we have to have a job for life and follow a certain, you know, get your qualifications, go to university. It doesn't have to work like that. And also, as a young person, you sometimes look at someone who you aspire to be, who, you know, I want to be that person way in the future, and compare yourself to people around you. I say don't compare yourself to people around you, to every so often stop and look back and think, am I better than I was 3 months ago? What do I know now that I didn't know 6 months ago? So compare yourself on that journey rather than, you know, something way in the distance.
So some of the people that I think of who have challenged gender bias, I mean, there's a couple of women in housing who, as I was developing my career, stood out or still stand out for me, and that's Geeta Nanda and Kate Davis, both of whom now lead two of the large G15 housing associations. So I think it's always been great to look across and see other women of your own age and time scale coming through. I think that's really encouraging. And then I think on a kind of international scale, if you like, Michelle Obama is someone that I really do admire, because you've got someone there who's from really humble beginnings. And okay, she was academically brilliant, but just being able to push through all those prejudices and achieve all that success in her own right, despite obviously what her husband achieved, for me that's very inspiring.
So a role model for me would be Sir John Harvey-Jones. He had a TV series called Troubleshooter that I watched when I was younger. And the thing about him was he would go in and look what would make the organisation better, look what would make the culture better, and sort of worked collectively with the people in the organisation to make it a better place to work. And hopefully that's what I'm aspiring to do.
And for those people who are maybe asking themselves why we still have an International Women's Day, why we still need it, why we're still working towards equality when maybe they think we've got it, I guess I'd say First Choice Homes Oldham is the first time I've worked in an organisation that had an all-female exec team, and that's noted and noticeable and out of the ordinary, and people comment on it. And if I think to myself, have I ever worked in an organisation that had an all-male team at the top? Yes, I have. And I didn't particularly notice it at the time, and I didn't find it notable or comment-worthy. And I'm wondering if other people would think the same. And if so, I guess that's the answer to our question. And hopefully in the next generation, equality will be such the norm that all of those things will be normal, all female execs, all male execs, and nobody will comment or notice the difference because it's just the norm. So that's what we're working towards, break the bias.